Hello, everyone. So another week, another rapid fire review. So I usually do these when I get very behind on my movie watching for the year. I mainly just do these for films where I missed the theatrical release by a little bit and I'm finally catching up to it, or more to streamings movies that you'll find on things like Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, streaming services like that. So I'm gonna cover 4 movies today, give my initial thoughts of them, just a quick review, quick score if I recommend them or not. So those 4 films that I have today are The Takedown, The Bad Guys, Jujutsu Kaisen 0, and Operation Mincemeat. So without further ado, let's get into this rapid fire review. So the first film I have today is The Takedown. You'll find this one on Netflix. It is just a little over 2 hours long and it stars Omar Sy. It is a French film, kind of buddy cop duo. And yeah, really what I can say about this film is that a lot of it felt really, really unnecessary, and the pacing of it was just so wonky. And I didn't really like either one of the characters in this buddy cop duo. I just found that this movie made a lot of fun of kind of police work, detective work in ways that were just really grotesque. It's very bloody, brutal, and a lot more gory than I was expecting it to be. But there's just a lot of unnecessary things that I found this film did, and just a lot of it wasn't compelling. Like I said, the main characters weren't. I saw the twist kind of in this movie coming from a mile away. Kind of the main villain and the plot that unfolds, I just found wasn't really that interesting because of how generically done it was, just like the whole story of this film. Again, there's just a lot of unnecessary gory things that they make fun of, or just I found a lot of it was really distasteful, where like they find a body that's been cut in half from like the waist up. So you get the bottom half, the up half, and there's one part where they're examining the lower half of the body, and like they're playing around with like the penis of the body, and it's just gross, disgusting things that you didn't really need to see or really have make fun of in this movie. Again, like it's okay if you just like the very grotesque and almost locker room style humor. This one might be for you, but yeah, I just found it was very generic and just not really worth the 2 hours that they had going on into this. I just didn't really find it all that funny, and with everything taken together for what this movie was trying to do, I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 10. So the next film I have is The Bad Guys. This is an animated film that comes in at about an hour and 40 minutes long, if I remember correctly. But I was not expecting this movie to be as good as it was. It has a very, very great voice cast from people like Zazie Beetz, Aquafina, Craig Robinson. But it is about a criminal group known as the Bad Guys, who is made up of the big bad wolf. They have a piranha that's kind of the muscle of the group. You have the Master of the Skies, which is a shark. There's their computer hacker, which is a tarantula, and you have kind of like the sneaky sleuth of the group, which is a snake. And they are, again, known as the like most infamous robbers of all time in the world, and they do want to establish that. So they pull off the big heist in the beginning of the movie, and they kind of have the idea to do the biggest heist ever, which is steal a humanitarian awards for basically the best person in the world. So while they do this, things go very south, but in a way where this kind of billionaire philanthropist Samaritan type character comes in and tries to make the arguments that the bad guys could become the good guys with proper rehabilitation and things like that. So they kind of go off a journey of what it truly means to be bad and good, and can they use their talents to be good people and do good things for society. So this film I did find was actually pretty funny. It has some good jokes in here. Of course, it is aimed more at kids, so you're gonna have a lot of poop and fart jokes. There is a lot of fart jokes that are in this movie, and it's kind of hard to sit through some of those ones. But really, like the voice acting is pretty incredible. I like the story. I really like the characters. The dynamic is very well explored. I did find there was a bit of pacing issues in this movie, but that really just comes from the opening scene of this movie being really, really good and incredible, and easily the best part of this film, and the rest of the movie trying to catch up to how good that opening sequence was, which it never quite does. But it is very entertaining and makes great use of course, the voice cast and their characters. And I just find this was a very realized movie and very, very good. So with everything taken together, I'm gonna have to give The Bad Guys a 7.5 out of 10, and it's easily one of the best animated films that's gonna come out this year. So the next film I have is Jujutsu Kaisen 0. This is a prequel to the Jujutsu Kaisen anime series, and it introduces a brand new protagonist who is absolutely awesome. I loved getting to learn about him, and I'm very excited to see him in the next season, or just next season's coming out, because again, he's just really well realized, and his powers and abilities are really, really awesome. I'm not trying to knock the original like cast members of the Jujutsu Kaisen series, but this new character is absolutely amazing. He has a great, compelling story that's very touching, very sad and emotional, and they do flush him out quite a bit. And I'm again just really excited to see more of him in it. And I do highly recommend this to anyone who's a fan of anime films, or just if, of course, if you're a fan of Jujutsu Kaisen, I think this is an absolute must to watch. Really, the only things I can kind of knock this movie on are, again, there are some pacing issues, mostly in the beginning of this movie. But I found that it seemed like a lot of the action sequences were cut out of this film, where there is a bunch of villains that they kind of tease, they would introduce in terms of a big battle sequence, and then you would just never see them again for the rest of the movie. You just get told that they kind of ran away, and you don't really get to know their abilities, what their curse is, or domain expansions are, anything like that. I just felt like it was kind of cut out of the movie for budget reasons when they hyped it up quite a bit. So that felt a little bit weird. But of course, when they get into the action, it's smooth as all hell, of course, as the Jujutsu Kaisen series has always been. And it did get me very excited to see more, of course, of this show, which rumored we're going to be getting December or January coming up. So fingers crossed for that. And yeah, I do highly recommend this film. Action's clean, characters are great. New character is absolutely fantastic. Can't wait to see more of him. And yeah, just a very compelling story. And with everything taken together, I'm going to have to give Jujutsu Kaisen 0 a 7.5 out of 10. The last film I have is Operation Mincemeat. So this one is just a little over 2 hours long, and you will find it on Netflix. This is a World War II backroom story that just kind of goes into a very controversial operation that was going to be pulled off in the UK during World War II times. And again, this one is a very slow burn. Don't go into it expecting any World War II action, because it's all just the backroom secrets and plotting that are in this film. And I just found that they missed out on a lot of commentary about how controversial this mission was and what it would have done to the people who were involved in it, of course. Again, just kind of like same thing with Jujutsu. I felt like there was a lot of things that were kind of left on the table and never fully explored or shown. And again, I can really only recommend this one to anyone if it is in your interest to watch very like backroom slow movies about, again, just what goes on in the background, the plotting of anything to do with war. So if you're a fan of that, it kind of gets my minimum recommendation, because there's not really a whole lot that this movie truly does. The set design's good, the acting's great, but again, I just found that there's just a lot of the potential of this movie was kind of missed, and that's why I'm going to have to give Operation Mincemeat a 6 out of 10. But if you've seen any of these movies, please let me know what you thought about them in the comments down below. If you like this rapid fire review, you can definitely check out everything I do on my channel through my playlist down below, and of course I'll link some up top here for convenience sake. Like this video, thank you for subscribing and turn that little ringer on so you know when I upload new videos. If you want to check out everything I do Twitch and live stream wise, there's a link to that in the description of this video, and of course my channel bio, and in both of those places there's a link to the Media Mountain, which is my Discord, where we talk about movies, video games, comic books, TV, pretty much everything that's awesome in this world. So you can definitely join that amazing community, help make it even more amazing than it is already. And yeah, just awesome, guys.